You're tuned into another edition of the Hot Seat. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Hot Seat. It's your boy Bam the Boss Hog.
And you have the undisputed king of urban media, Tucker, and welcome to another edition of the Hot Seat Urban Media Radio Show. And we have a big show for you tonight. Ma'am, since you know more about it, why don't you introduce our guest tonight? Wait a minute. We have to give the calendar first before we get into the show. We can't not tell our listening audience where we'll be. So, Bam, at this time, why don't you tell them what we got going on?
July 27th, back to school special at West End Mall. We'll be giving out book bags. Got some of the best talent in Atlanta and the world. Come out and check us out. Free school supplies, West End Mall, July 27th from 12 to 6. 12 to 6. Yeah, so.
12 to 6. You know what, man, I was thinking about? And you mentioned the woman down in Macon who has the models. I think you should give her a call, and we might throw up a few models, you know. Have her have some kids come up here with some school fashions, and we'll put on a fashion show over there. That's a thought, huh? Yeah. And, you know, we got plenty of time, 12 to 6, so we'll be able to slip that in.
Yeah.
So, at this time, Bam, introduce our guest.
What's 12 to 6?
12 to 6?
Yeah.
Why, you got something to do, man? Go, people?
Might look like my day's taking long. I'm good. 12 to 6. We'll find something to fill in that time.
Excuse me.
All right. On the mic and all this. Today, we have Nedra out of Canton, Ohio.
No.
Yeah,
She's not from Canton, Ohio.
Nedra from Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
I got it labeled in my phone as Octomom +2.
No, I only have 10.
That's 8 + 2.
Octomom has 14, don't she?
Yeah. Nah, 14.
Yeah, she's got 14.
What is Octo? I thought it was 8.
Okay.
She had 8 kids all at one time.
Oh,
but
but
she already had a bunch
of
of other kids.
Well, Octo, yeah, wow, I got my own version.
So you said
14. Wow.
So you have 14 kids?
No, I have 10.
Woo! 10.
Yeah.
10. I'm a loss for words now. So
when did you start?
I had my first child 8 days after my 14th birthday.
Huh? So you had your first child at 13?
I had my first child at 14. My birthday is September the 11th. His birthday is September the 19th.
So maybe the question would be, when did you become
you were
sexually
pregnant at
active?
13?
Yes, I was pregnant at 13.
So when did you become sexually active?
At 11.
Old man?
He
had to be.
He was 19.
He wasn't no classmate.
He was 19.
Oh, man, 19.
19.
They can get away with that in the country like that?
I wasn't your average 11-year-old. I was built like a 30-year-old woman.
At 11?
Yeah.
And they was treating you like one too, huh?
Yeah.
I bet he did. Wow.
So were your parents aware of this?
My mother and my father are both alcoholics. My grandmother raised me, my sister and I. And I was one of those kids that was taken in by the grandma, and the grandma spoiled me, and I could never do any wrong because she felt like she had failed with my mom. So everything I did, she would sweep under the rug or she would turn her head, and it was just, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
So first kid at 14, second kid at
15,
third kid.
18.
So you had 2 kids before you got out of school, or did you finish school?
No, I stopped going to high school my sophomore year, and then I enrolled myself into an alternative school, and I was doing the half-day classes and take your baby to class with you. And
Okay, so did I don't even know how to ask questions. I'm so stunned. So did a stigma come behind you being 13 and 14 with 2 kids?
Nope.
No way.
No.
You had a normal, like all the boys didn't like try to feel on you?
Oh
or
no, I was like the leader of the pack. I only had ever hung with boys. So I had also had a lot of neighborhood brothers. So nobody never messed with me. I was never disrespected. Even when I had my 2 kids at 14 and 15, my grandmother didn't stop me. She didn't make me sit in the house. I didn't have to turn into this, you need to take care of these, your kids, you had them, you take care of them. I was still out, hanging out with my friends every day, playing around, going to parties.
As a young boy, I'd have been like, she got 2 kids.
But no.
We'd have been pointing at, she got 2 kids. No?
They knew, and then at that they knew that I wasn't on no little boy.
Yeah, they were scared.
They knew I wasn't even. They couldn't even look my way.
Oh yeah. So she wasn't considered easy.
Nah.
No way.
You get out
14,
there,
they stand away. Like no way.
So it wasn't a 19-year-old that fathered your first child.
Yes, he was 19.
That fathered your first child.
Yes.
But he would have been 20-something when you turned.
He died when I was 4 months pregnant. He was shot and killed.
Wow. Well, you got some twists and turns in your life, huh?
Listen.
So, were you heartbroken when he died?
Yeah, it really did something to me, because not only was I pregnant, and nobody knew I was pregnant. Nobody knew I was pregnant until the day I went in labor. So, my friends knew, and I had an auntie that I was really close with and who was cool with. She knew, and when I found out that he died, like, my whole world fell apart. I shut down. I think I stayed in the house and in my room for months.
11-year-old. Let me go back to the 11. So what goes through your mind at 11, and you got this man on top of you? I mean, how did you even get into? Had your cycle started at 11?
Oh yeah.
That's got to be. 11, you're still playing with dolls.
11. I was going in the liquor store.
What am I missing, Bam? Because you usually can interpret some of these things.
I never saw this one before myself. Playing with dolls.
I mean, 11 years old, you're still jump roping.
You're supposed to be. Yeah, you're supposed to be.
Were you drinking at 11?
Yes.
Wow.
I was throwing house parties.
There were no D-packs around there?
I know. I was throwing house parties.
So you're just completely out of control then?
Yes.
So this boy, was it in the backyard behind the fence, or he was taking
the
you in the bed?
Oh no, we was at his house.
Y'all playing
he had an apartment. He lived across the street.
He was sick then.
In the apartments that we lived in.
He was sick then. He should have went to jail. 11-year-old kid going. You have an apartment. And you invite an 11-year-old to jail.
He didn't know that I was 11.
How did you not know that?
He didn't know that I promise. He didn't know.
Okay, so now we skipped a few years. We had one 13, we had one 14. So we let 4 years go by and we have another.
15 to 18, yes. We have another one.
So 18, we have 3.
Yes.
The same guy?
No, he was dead. Remember?
So how many different guys?
All together?
No, in the first 3.
Oh, in the first, there's 3.
Woo! So there's 3.
You think the word got out? Like,
what word? What are you talking about?
Like,
you know you talking about. Wait.
No, because where I lived, it was, when I got pregnant, the first time I was in Dayton. We left Dayton and we moved back to Indiana. And when we moved back to Indiana, then my daughter's father, which is my second child, he came from out of state. He was somebody I met.
How old was he?
He was 17.
Okay, he was okay.
He was 17.
Okay. So then you're in Indiana when you.
Then I'm in Indiana when I had the second one, and then I stayed in the house. I literally stayed in the house for 3 years, and just was like, okay, I was tired. I had partied and played, and just I had did so much. After I had my second one, I was just like, okay, it's boring to be out now. So I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I went to school, and I stayed in the house, and I was at church, and I stayed with my granny. And then my cousin, I remember my cousins came in from out of town. We had like a family reunion, and we was out and we was partying, and that's when I met my third son's father.
Okay. So then you had number 3 at 18.
Then I had number 3 at 18.
So how much time before you, like, when you met these guys that you just...
All my kids came from relationships.
You know what I'm saying? How long was the relationship before you...
I mean, it would... I don't know, some months.
Months?
Yeah.
It wasn't that they conned you, told you they loved you, and
Oh,
then
no.
we're off to the races.
No.
No, none of that?
Nah.
So, okay, now 18, you're on your third child. Nobody says nothing.
Well,
You're 18, nobody says nothing like, you know, you need to slow down. You got 3 kids, you're 18 years old, and there's a whole life in front of you. Somebody said something. Nobody just ignored
Nobody
this whole process.
never said it to me. I've always been really independent, so there wasn't anybody to say anything. And if anybody was to say anything, it would have been my granny, but my granny would never say anything. My grandma had my back, and she was like, okay, you know what you're doing, you know what's going to happen, you know, cause and effect, you know there's consequences to all your actions.
Right.
So, hey, if this is what you're doing, then this is what you're doing, because you know you reap what you sow. So, you know.
How many friends did you lose over this period of time? Like, I know some parents like don't hang around her.
I never lost any friends because when the 2 girls that I ever had hung out with from adolescence to when I was like 20 had kids also. We was in a circle of our own. And matter of fact, they was off. The one that didn't have kids was off making movies and doing things that I didn't even want to be a part of. So that was some extra stuff. So
we're at 3 now. 4 came when?
4 came a year later, exactly the same day.
19?
Yeah, I was 19. So I had number 3 and number 4 on the same day, exactly a year apart at the same time. They have the same father.
And nobody is saying you need to slow down.
Why would they say that to me? I had my own house, I had my own car, I had my own job, and I had my own kids.
But you know, just like they say, it's tough out here. You know, I pay child support for 1 child, and it's tough out here for me with just 1 child.
And that's fine. You're talking about 2013. We're talking about 1998.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going though. But even in 1998, 4 at 19. 4 and 19. That's how. Okay, tell me how that's not hard. At 4 children.
Hard.
Okay, so something has to click up here. This is tough. Maybe I don't want any more kids. I mean, it's got. I can't imagine.
I'm not gonna say I didn't say that. I think every childbirth I had, my grandmother said that I said this was it. This was the last one. I think I even said it to my best friend when I had number 8 and number 9 and number 10.
So did you cry? Did you ever cry?
I always cried.
Like, what have I done? Cried?
No, I cried like, okay, I know it's gonna get better. I know this is not the end. I know something good is going to come out of this. I've always been strong in my faith, so, you know, I've cried more tears of joy than anything else.
Okay. All right. What are you going to say, man?
I forgot. Like, have you ever been on any TV shows, Maury or anything like that?
No.
Like, this is your first?
This is
Yes.
the show. This is the show that's going to make her a star.
I would think she'd be on local news or something.
Yeah.
19 with 4 kids.
Okay, no, but we're just at 19. Now, That's 4 at 19 now. When did 5 come?
20.
Oh my God.
Now, let me ask you this. Okay, now we're at 5, and this is the interesting question for me is, what are these guys saying to you? You're 20 years old and you have 4 kids. What are they saying? What are they seriously trying to have a relationship, or are they just trying to do something?
I think in the beginning, some of them were. I've always been headstrong and independent, so
You keep repeating that. We got you.
like no, I'm just telling you, like that was causing some issues in some of my relationships because it would turn out to be that I was with guys who didn't have more strength than I had or didn't have the drive to move forward and move on. So they would come in and say, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to be together. You know, we in this relationship. We doing what we need to do. The next thing you know, I'm trying to move forward and they at a standstill.
So out of the last 3, what are those guys doing now? Like,
The last 3, like 8, 9, and 10.
4, 3, 5, 4.
Oh.
Yeah, Dad. 5, 4, and 3.
Number 1, his dad is dead.
Yeah.
Number 2, her dad is incarcerated. And number 3 and 4, their father is dead.
Wow, you don't have very much luck with men, huh? That ain't a good percentage there. Dead or in jail. So at 20, where we at? We on 4 or 5?
We're on 5.
We're on 5 at 20. I guess what my curiosity is, it would be a stretch for me, and I'm not everybody either. You know, a woman has 5 kids. That's a heck of a responsibility. So when you're talking about that strength, I believe you when you say that strength because you're taking on a whole lot. So I guess my thing would be, how could you trust what a man's saying after 5?
I've always had trust issues.
But you yet and still moved forward.
I would attempt. I attempted.
Would you think your is the right word estrogen is higher than most women?
Oh yes, I know for a fact.
So you Spike Lee's gotta have it. She gotta have it. No, you ain't in church.
No, whether I'm going to tell the truth regardless. Yes, I mean I would say that it was. It was.
So so they could meet you at the party and then y'all could end up in the bed.
It's happened, though. I mean, it happened.
You got a kid like that too?
Oh yeah, a one-night stand kid. Oh yeah.
So where is that guy? You don't even know.
I know what it is. I talked to him. We're friends on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
Did it work?
I don't know. He called himself not wanting to be in his child's life, so he was arguing with me about my daughter being mine. So he was like, I want a maternity test, and I said, sure, ain't nothing wrong with it. We'll do this. We go down there, and he goes and he gets a paternity test. Of course, the child is his, and then the judge says, okay, and he says, well, I have other kids, and I can't do nothing for this child, and so on and so forth. And the judge says, okay, well, what do you want me to do about that? And he said, I want to turn over my parental rights. I want to give all my parental rights up. And the judge laughed at him and told him that he was going to pay $300 and some for the child support every month.
So did he do it?
He's supposed to.
Did he do it?
I haven't seen the check. but you know.
So we're at 5 at 20, and like I said, getting back to that's a stretch. 5 kids. I mean that would be a stretch to me, any man. Could you do 5 kids, man?
Nah.
No. Well, how many would you do?
What?
With a woman that.
To my me, if I met a woman.
Yeah. How many could she have?
1.
1?
Yeah.
I think I could do.
No.
I think I could do 3.
Too many. Hell no.
3.
1. 3?
I could do 3. Well, see, I'm older, so most of the women my age.
If you were 35, how many you could do?
2. I don't know. I've never done 2. I've done 1, but I've never done 2. But 2 probably would be the cutoff. And it couldn't be none of them thug boys. It couldn't have none of them.
Somebody, little boy.
Little hood boys, little 16-year-old hood boys. I couldn't do that at all.
Nah, one didn't have to be under the age, like Nah.
See, that's what I used to say when I was in my 30s. They have to be up under a certain age, under 12, under 13, nothing going forward. Why are you frowning? Say what you got to say. You're allowed to speak. Go ahead. Why are you frowning up? Tell us.
I'm just listening to
what's your
y'all.
thought?
Y'all going back and forth, and I mean to each his own. And I'm gonna let
No,
you know.
we're talking to each other. We're nothing against you.
Oh,
I'm just telling
trust me,
person.
I know that because I ain't never got a problem getting a man.
I don't think so. You got 10 kids.
I ain't never got a problem, and we put it out there because that'll be the first thing that comes out my mouth.
We want to get there. Hold up, because we want to get all the way up there. Because where we at?
Five.
Five.
You gotta go on 6 now.
5, 20, 6.
You're going to 6.
Okay, six now. How old were you when you had 6?
22.
So 2 years later, you had 1 more.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
So when did you figure out like this was a career?
What, having kids?
Yeah.
It wasn't a career.
I was thinking, if she would have sold them on the black market, she'd be rich.
He's telling you to do that.
She could have been a surrogate mama.
I'm sorry. No. Sorry.
A baby meal. It could have been a baby meal.
You been straight.
No, absolutely not.
So
I would run in hell.
It's 6 at 22. 6 at 22. You must have been. So was he in Indiana also?
5 and 6 were with my husband.
Oh yeah, the husband in there. Somebody took on the responsibility.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Hey.
Well, no. Okay. Let's be honest. No, he didn't take on any responsibility. He came into the picture with his own baggage, and we got married, and we broke up at our wedding reception. So whatever that counts for.
So
at the wedding reception.
Yeah.
So y'all didn't even make it out to church good.
No, we made it out to church, and then we made it across the street to the reception hall, and we made it in the reception hall after the introduction, and all the way until it was time to serve the food, to then he goes and leaves with his girlfriend.
So what happened to alcohol?
What? Wait a minute. You hear what she said? She said he left with his girlfriend.
Man, that's crazy. That's not for real.
My right-handed God. No, who makes stuff up like this?
Yeah,
she's still married.
I'm still married to him.
So y'all broke up. What happened?
Because he had a girlfriend, and they were arguing, and his story 2 weeks later was he didn't want her causing no trouble, but there was a fight and a shootout in the parking lot of my wedding reception because he got in the car with this chick and was leaving with this chick. So
you shot him?
No, I didn't move from my seat. I asked for another drink.
So did he know this when he was at the altar? Like,
yeah.
When I go across the street up in the...
He knew this when he was 15 minutes late for our wedding.
And he still said, I do.
He still said he does.
So, have you started writing a book?
I'm in the process. I am in the process.
And you ought to. And you ought to. This is a good start for you right here. This is therapy for the both of us. So we're at 20. So you got married at 22.
I got married at 20. With number 5 was his also.
Okay.
We had number 5 in December. She was born in December of 2000, and we got married February of 2001.
Then you had a second child.
And we had the second child.
Wait a minute. So when he comes in your life, he doesn't say we don't need to have any more kids. He doesn't say that.
No.
That's just somebody got to say, okay, we're good. We got a family here.
What part are you gonna get? Nobody said it. It's at 10. Nobody said it.
Nobody says it. That's amazing to me. Nobody says it. So okay.
What are your friends saying?
I didn't have any friends.
Shoot, you didn't have time for friends.
I didn't have friends.
6 diapers to wipe.
Oh, I had plenty of time. I could tell you my daily schedule. I had plenty of time.
So with these 6 kids, we're up to 22 and 6 kids. Every time they saw a man, did they can call him daddy?
No.
No?
No.
So what did they think? So were they in their room and you was in the bed with some man? I mean, how does this work?
When my kids were, no, it would never be some random guy in my house. That's one thing I do not do. I don't do that random guy around my kids. When I met my husband, we met, and he wasn't allowed to come in my house. And eventually, after we spent some time together, and he had his own apartment, so I was going to his house a lot. And so we built a relationship, and then I brought him around my children. But my kids knew who their fathers was. So it wasn't, no, this is my new daddy, that stuff y'all see on the movies. It wasn't none of that.
So did the dad come around and get them and things like that?
When they were around.
So did the dads talk junk at you when you started having additional kids?
No.
You crazy.
No.
Everybody ain't like me because I would have talked junk at you.
What would you say?
If I was angry with you, I would have said all kinds of junk.
What would you be angry for, though? This is my life. We not together. What can you say?
Yeah, what you be mad? You have a fit.
Yeah. You have all these kids. We might have been able to make it. You had to go out and have all these kids. What's wrong?
Okay, I had the kids after the fact.
I mean, I'd be talking crazy.
And that would be fine too, because I would do you the way I've done
That means you can let go then.
That's right.
That means
you was holding on. That means you was holding on to something. You just mad you thought them kids wasn't yours.
Crazy.
Wow.
Look at you. Don't even know who the baby daddy is.
I always knew who my kids.
It wouldn't stop me from saying it though. I'd be saying some rude.
And I've heard it. I've heard it.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I still hear it.
So how many guys wanted a test afterwards?
2.
Wanted a test.
Yeah.
Wow. Out of
that's a good percentage.
Yeah, because I know I would have been like, hey, just Alpha GP, just a test. Like, nah, it's not me.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So we're at 6.
Yeah.
6
we're at 6.
22.
22.
All right, when 7 come in?
23.
By somebody different.
Yes.
So were you pregnant with 6 and 7 came along like 8 months?
He was born in May. I didn't get pregnant until the next year. I got pregnant in the beginning of the year.
So did you ever have one like I said, you was pregnant like at 6 months, then the next baby that came along?
No.
What I didn't get that.
You know, like you pregnant at 6 months, then like you come along.
Oh,
that was my story.
So you sit through the pregnancy.
Yeah, then.
You know, I hear stories like that.
That's what I had initially thought on at least one, but mine was wrong.
Somebody did that.
Somebody came
what that I had got
pregnant. Well, you like 7 or 8 months pregnant.
Else.
Yeah, then once you had that.
Oh yes. When I was pregnant with my number, Rajay's number 7. When I was pregnant with number 7, her father and I, like, he was Korean and he was in the military, and
Korean.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was mixed. He wasn't fully Korean, but he was mixed, and he was like. He was crazy. He was crazy. So I picked up and I moved, and he wasn't even from. He lived there. His family was there, but I just moved away. And then I think I was about 6 months pregnant, and I met this guy, and he was actually he used to play football out in the yard. On the street we lived in, he would play football with the kids in the neighborhood, and he used to come and offer cut my grass and do all kind of stuff. And one day he cooked for me, and
he got a free pass for a couple of months. Then he ended up getting.
We're at 6 and 7, somewhere between there. And now that you say Korean, so are your baby's daddy outside the Korean African American, or we have multiple races?
Number 1, his father was white and Italian.
And he got killed?
Yes.
What was he doing?
Drugs.
Okay.
He was selling drugs, so he got robbed and killed. And then number 7, she's Korean and black, and then that's it.
Okay. Definitely didn't discriminate. Equal opportunity employer, right? So we're at between 6 and 7, and you're 22, was it, at 6?
Yes.
Okay, 7 at 24?
No, 7 I was 25.
25.
Yeah.
7 at 25. Okay. So any details that dad around, or that's the one that came in?
He came in and we were doing the whole, he came in heavy and he took in like all that. At that point, I'm on number 7 and I've got all this. I'm going to school. I'm working. He came in heavy. We weren't compatible. I have this thing that if I get fed up and I get tired, I tend to push people away, and that's how a lot of my relationships have ended. So he could have been a really, really good guy, but I just wasn't feeling him anymore.
He had to be good if he came with you with 7
deep. 7 deep.
That doesn't make him a good guy.
Okay, at 7 deep, what kind of car do you drive?
I always had a truck. So I was always in.
A truck, you just threw them in the back of the truck?
Okay, I would put them in the seats and put them in the seatbelt. No.
Oh, I thought you meant you just dump them in the back of the flatbed.
I always had a SUV.
So you have to have a pretty big SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever had an excursion?
The Suburban with
No, I did never get a excursion, but last year or 2 years ago when I got my Suburban.
We ain't there yet. We still on 7. 7 wasn't last year. We don't want when we get to 10 we'll find out what you drive. But right now we're at 7. And what you driving?
At 7? I had a Ford Windstar.
Was that, a van?
Yes.
How many seats you got in it?
I think it's set 7 or 8 people.
Okay, so what is the noise volume like with 7 kids in the car? I can't even envision.
I don't know. I block it out.
You block it out. So so you got, how many baby seats did you have?
I would only ever have one child in a car seat. There wouldn't be, in a baby seat. Everybody else that needed like booster seats were in booster seats.
So you would have multiple ones all in the car.
Well, that's the law.
So that Windstar looked like a nursery van.
Does it?
Yeah. I'm talking with all those car seats. Like,
yeah, you have to have all that. Wow. So So I guess did y'all like go to McDonald's? Y'all ever go to McDonald's?
We always go to McDonald's. We go
so
everywhere.
How much would it cost to feed 7 kids and yourself at McDonald's?
It just depends on what they were eating that day.
Just give me
anywhere. I've spent $150 at McDonald's. And that's on a regular day going get something and going to the park.
Wow.
$150.
Yeah.
So they ain't just eating the Happy Meal, they eating whatever.
Well, I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's. So I don't like McDonald's.
What you put them in there for if you don't like it?
Because my kids like McDonald's. So
they wouldn't know it if you wouldn't have taken them. They wouldn't even know what McDonald's tastes like.
I'm not the only person to take them to McDonald's, so.
Okay. Wow. So we're at 7? Are we at 7? Now 8.
2008, I was 28.
So you skipped a few years.
No, yeah, from 2005 to 2008.
And still no one's saying.
No.
That's enough.
No.
So, okay, 2008. This guy approaches you and he wants to what? What does he want to do? 2008. You have these 8 kids. And you have to know.
Okay, this time there was no relationship. There was none of that. I had just got out of a bad relationship. And I wasn't even looking for no relationship. And that's why I had been by myself for a really, really long time. 2008 was a horrible year. The guy I met in 2008 was just a mess. He gave me the attention that I wanted because I had just come out of a bad relationship, and it was just